What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Waste World Podcast. I'm your host, Gage Edwards, and today we're taking a closer look at one of the biggest forces shaping the waste and environmental services industry today, acquisitions. Joining me today is HP Nanda, CEO of Arcwood Environmental. Under Nanda's leadership, Arcwood has pursued an aggressive growth strategy, completing 6 acquisitions in less than 2 years while also investing in the organic growth of its business. Its latest acquisition was just announced last week. I think when I'm recording this, that's when it happened. So today we're talking about what's driving Arcwood's acquisition strategy, how companies determine when an acquisition makes sense, and what happens after a deal closes. And we'll look at the impact acquisitions can have on employees, customers, and investors, and what continued consolidation could mean for the broader waste and environmental services industry. So if you like this episode, make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple iTunes. Check us out on YouTube for the video version. Go to waste360.com for more stories and interviews like this one and more episodes of the podcast. Share the podcast with a friend, leave us a review, comment, and I hope you enjoy the episode. All right, today we're talking with HP Nanda. HP, I just want to give the opportunity for our listeners to be familiar with you or Arcwood Environmental. Can you introduce yourself and tell us what your role as a CEO and give us an overview of the company and the markets you serve?
Hi, Gage. So nice to talk to you today and a pleasure to be with you. I have been the CEO of Arcwood Environmental for almost 2+ years. We are a 57-year-old family-owned company headquartered in Indianapolis, previously known as Heritage Environmental Services. And in January of 2024, Equity Partners, one of the largest private equity in the world, took control of this company. And then I came in as the CEO in April of 2024. I can tell you it has been a fantastic ride. There are only 3 fully integrated end-to-end hazardous waste management players across the United States. Alongside Clean Harbor and Veolia, we are the 3rd one. And we have been on an amazing growth journey, taking the legacy of the 57 years of the family and take the company from good to great.
Awesome. Great. Well, if anyone is not familiar with Arcwood, you guys have been busy this last 2 years. We're talking 6 acquisitions in that time. So anytime I hear about you guys, it's always like scooping this up, picking this up, improving the business this way. What is driving that strategy? What do you think these acquisitions collectively say about where you want to take the company?
Thank you. Building up on our legacy of 57 years, like I said, serving thousands of customers coast to coast, we still realized we have to do a better job to be a fully integrated player on 3 dimensions. Increase our reach and penetration on specific industry verticals, primarily the ones which there is a lot of talk now, like semiconductor that we need for artificial intelligence and the chip manufacturing in our country. Like the pharmaceutical companies producing new type of drugs to give us longer life, healthier life, a lot of pharmaceutical investment happening in our country. Manufacturing onshoring coming to our country with everything going on, and even things like PFAS regulation. How do you take the forever chemicals out? And all these things basically produce a lot of hazardous waste. And as we want to ensure the planet is a better one for current and future generations, companies like us play a critical role. And in that way, we wanted to increase industry vertical penetration, expand geographic reach, and build a technology stack that will allow us to service our customers with a full end-to-end holistic solution. So all our acquisitions fit into one of these 3 themes.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's not just, I mean, you guys are, of course, busy out there hustling and bustling, but like if we take a step back away from Arcwood and just look at the industry as a whole, waste environmental services, we've seen a lot of M&A recently. And I'm curious to find out from your side, what's fueling that trend? Why is consolidation happening so rapidly now, it feels like?
Yeah. Gage, I want to give you first about 30 seconds about the industry. I came to this industry as a new entrant because I spent my time in other companies and previous 6 years in water industry. This is a fascinating industry. You could imagine in environmental services or in broader waste management, we do not produce anything as a company, any company. We help all the customers, they could be industrial customers, municipal customers, commercial, retail, institutional, hospitals, healthcare, all of them, we take what we call in Arcwood language the byproducts of progress. They have to do their job. In the process, as they do their job, they'll be producing more waste, and we want to take all that headache from them. How to ensure they're compliant based on the EPA regulations, sometimes go above and beyond regulation. How do we treat, recycle, repurpose, reuse, reduce waste, dispose in a way human health and environment is protected. As you look at this, now we are realizing environmental services is a strategic lever for any company to do their job with peace of mind. As companies realize this more and more, they are looking for companies that have scaled capability, like us, Clean Harbor and Veolia, the full-scale companies, and that is why you see the consolidation happening in the industry, because scaled companies with the full end-to-end capability will be able to give the peace of mind to the customers as they focus on their core competency.
Gotcha. And then when you're evaluating these potential acquisitions, I think you spoke to this a little bit, but what makes a company the right fit? Like what quantities or capabilities are you looking for beyond like financial performance?
Thank you. Like you say, we're busy with 6 acquisitions. Every company looks at acquisitions, but definitely our recipe of what we look at and where we want to focus is critical. Some of the traditional works, like you said, beyond financials, we look at, is the company a strategic fit in terms of the industry vertical, like I said, pharmaceutical, semiconductor, industrial customers, that has a nice fit to us. The geographic presence, we have places where we are super strong. There are geographies or territories we are not that strong. Will the new acquisition will help us close the void and give us access to customers in the geography. Second, but the most critical one is the cultural fit. We realize that is very critical. How to win the hearts and minds of all the incoming employees and ensure they feel like this new home of theirs is a place where they can speak their mind, they can come to work, do their job without any inhibition, without any fear of retaliation. That's a unique cultural trait that is required to make the integration successful, and we really spend a lot of time focusing on that.
Yeah, I think that's a strong point because culture is definitely a big pull in the waste and recycling industry, this landscape in general. Because if you don't have that culture there and you're kind of getting by and everyone's upset and things like, why even bother? Like we're doing a messy job. We got to make these people happy, right?
Yes. Yeah. As a Midwest company, I keep telling my team, humility is our strength, not our weakness.
There you
That's
go.
exactly how we become humble, serve our customers, do the job. Because sometimes the job we do in environmental services is not the sexy, but it is very much a critical necessity. Ensure human health and the environment is protected.
And then I don't know if you know this about me, have never bought a company. I don't know what that's like. So when you're looking at the integration process, what does that look like? And what are the biggest challenges in bringing in 2 organizations together successfully?
Thank you. We have what is called a 3-phase integration process. The first is called the day one. On the day one, you think about the founders or the current owners announced, hey, we are going to change our hands and now we all will be part of Arcwood Environmental. How do you go and give the peace of mind to all the existing employees? That is called our phase 1 or the day one. And you cannot imagine, I have an amazing team internally. Our HR, to our business president, to our IT, to all our cross-functional teams, they go fully prepared on the day one. They tell them, they take a lot of swags, but they go and give them the peace of mind. What is the new environment is going to look like? How we will ensure we are going to learn from them and not do everything the Arcwood way. There could be unique ways that they do things, we're going to learn from them, and that would be the new way of doing things in Arcwood. So you want to really go and explain a lot of things about how their payroll will be now processed, how they will be enroll them into their health and medical benefits, how to ensure their 401k transition happens smoothly, how they will get an email access, when the company's name will change or their business card will change or email will change. We articulate and communicate all of that on the day one. Then we call maybe a day 30, I will say, what is called page 2. That is the day we have gone through a cybersecurity, we have gone through all the checks and balances. Now we have really transitioned them from their existing email, domain, everything to Arcwood email, website, systems, doing things like that. So that is how we give them 30 days just to come up to speed and do it. And then we call it a phase 3, or the full integration, when the ERP, most of the time the ERP integration, how the accounting and the financial systems are integrated, they take the longest time, because you have to really understand how that company used to do business, how Arcwood does its business, how to do it in a way the customers will never have the pain. It will be a very smooth and seamless transition. That takes the longest time. That is phase 3. Sometimes the phase 3 could be 3-4 months down the road from day one, but that is how we think about a 3-step process.
So it definitely sounds like you need to have like an open mind going into an acquisition, regardless of the side you're on.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. So we talked about the employees a little bit. We talked internally, the culture, but you mentioned their customers. So I want to look externally. So for customers, acquisitions can sometimes create a lot of uncertainty. They don't know what's coming their way, what changes they need to worry about. So from your perspective, what should customers expect when companies combine, and how can acquisitions ultimately improve customer experience?
Thank you. Uh, guys, we have created why customers should choose Arcwood versus any other player. Three simple things. We want to be more reliable, we want to be more responsive, we want to be more easy to do business with. Those are the three cornerstones of why they should choose us versus anybody else. That means, what does reliable mean? Because you know better than waste industry. If we promise our customers our truck will show up on Wednesday morning 9 o'clock to pick up the waste, we better do it. Because they cannot hold it too long, their production will be interrupted. That is how we track and measure reliability. Responsiveness. If they have a technical question, if they want a new waste stream to be approved, how can we make it happen in minutes and hours, not take days or weeks? We measure our responsiveness. And easy to do business with. How do we build IT systems, tools, so that they can get all the information in one place? They don't have to struggle. They don't have to stand on the telephone lines calling for 60 minutes and they're listening to the music. How to do it. So that is exactly what we think every time we go and acquire a company. We expect that the customers of the company we acquire will eventually come and see the same three value propositions of Arcwood: being reliable, being responsive, being easy to do business with. And that is how the culture we create internally is customer first, ensuring every function is really thinking that way, how they can contribute to improve reliability, responsiveness, and ease of doing business.
Yeah, I like the structured approach you have here, because it's not overvaluing or undervaluing any part. It's like, well, this is all equal, all this matters, and we cannot we cannot skip anything here. We have to hit all of these parts exactly as we lay it out.
Thank you.
Now, I guess another step to this is investors often react quickly to acquisition announcements, even rumors in the waste sector, especially publicly. What should people be looking at to determine whether a deal is creating a long-term value rather than just short-term growth?
It depends upon the acquirer. I can tell you, there is no long term without going through short term. That's what life is. You and I cannot think about 2028 without going through 2027 and 2026. So that is how we think long term and short term in a very balanced way. For us, an acquisition, we answer three questions. Is the opportunity to acquire real? That means, like I said, does it have a good strategic fit? Second is, can we win, or can we be the right owner? For multitude of reasons. Culture is definitely, we spoke about culture and what the company does. Can we win? And lastly, is it worth it? At the end of the day, if we pay too much value upfront and then we cannot see the value, we cannot take care of our investors because we spend too much money, we did not create the value, it is not good for anyone. Or same thing, is it worth it? The critical question. So all the time we go through the process. Is the opportunity really good strategic fit? Can we win, or can we be the right owner? And is it really worth it at the value we're willing to pay? Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't. That's life.
That's like I have lots of losses in my day. I understand it can be a tough world out there. So I can only imagine the headaches that kind of go through some of these when you're just like, wow, we've been beating our head against the wall for a while and it is just not coming together.
Yeah, you are right.
All right. If we look across the waste sector, what do you think this wave of acquisitions is doing in terms of like changing competition, innovation, the future of environmental services? What is your take on that?
Uh, It's all happening, like we said, consolidation of the industry. We spoke about how scaled platforms will provide more value, more problem solving to customers. One, the traditional boundaries of waste is getting blurred with new emerging challenges and opportunities. One example is PFOS. You could imagine PFOS in my old world, Gage, it was a water problem because water had PFOS. But hey, once you take the PFOS out from water, what do you do with that? You cannot throw it anywhere. You
Nope.
cannot dump it. You have to destroy and ensure it is gone from Mother Planet. That is why the waste piece now this is a completely this is one example of how PFOS as a problem has not crossed boundaries from water or maybe soil or wastewater or even industrial products and services to waste management or environmental services. I think the second one. The third one is innovation. I think the artificial intelligence, the whole technology is going to allow us to do things very differently. How we think about anything, whether how we were thinking about running our incinerators, to how we used to do the approvals with customers, or how do we really be super smart where the every digital tool we do is so intuitive our customers can spend much less time and get the technical solutions. So I think the AI is going to drive a lot of innovation in the ecosystem. So absolutely. So I think scaled platforms transcending boundaries from one industry or one sector to another sector, and third is the digital as a key enabler to do things differently than what we have done in the past, I think are the key phenomena.
Yes, I agree. And we talked a little bit about how we can't look past or too far into the future because who knows what's going to happen in the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But if we look ahead a little bit, do you expect acquisition activity to continue at its current pace over the next several years, not just with Arcwood, but with just the industry as a whole? And what do you think the industry will look like as a result?
Yeah. I think this will continue. You remember I spoke about the scaled platforms. If I could just take 30 seconds to explain to you the way I visualize our industry, there are four steps of the value chain. The step one is having thousands of customers, market access or customers. A lot of players have it. Once you have customers, then you pick up the waste. You need to have transport infrastructure. There are a lot of companies that provide transport infrastructure to pick up the waste. Then once you pick up the waste, you bring them everything from the customer. You have to take them whatever we call it, a transfer station, a 10-day, a service center, whatever you call it, because that is the place you want to consolidate, build the bulk, and then the fourth leg is sent to the right technology outlet. It could be a wastewater treatment, it could be a landfill, it could be an incinerator, it could be a solvent recovery, it could be a fuel blending. As you look at the four stacks or the four steps of the value chain, that is where three companies exist that have the scaled platform in our country. But there are hundreds of players who do only step one, Gaze. There are hundreds of players who only do step two, or there are a few players who do step one, two, three. And I think that is why we still have a lot of consolidation, because the number of players who are in the step one, two, three of the value chain, I think it will be continuing. But at the same time, I tell you, everybody's focus is on the environmental services as a space. So the competition has intensified too much. So many investors all are looking at our space. That is why sometimes you see the valuations going through the roof, because this is an exciting space for a lot of investors looking, say, wow, I want to play in this space.
Yeah, I think we've seen that too with some of the industry rumors, and people are just like, or stock prices are changing on specific companies. I won't get into who, but you're just seeing it, and you're like, wow, okay, is there smoke? Is there fire where the smoke is, or are we just kind of like we're laying off? I don't play in the stock market. I don't pretend to. I'm afraid of it, but like I'm sure how people out there are just like, okay, things are moving, things are happening. Well, HP, that's the end of my questions, man. Do you have anything that I didn't cover today that you want to throw my way that you want to talk about?
I want to talk about probably an exciting acquisition that you will see happening this week from us. And it is a very unique one, guys. In the interest of everybody, I just wanted to share with you. You will
Yes.
see an acquisition from ourselves. That's our sixth acquisition in last 2 years happening in Maryland. And exactly for the same reason, we decided to acquire this company because of the strategic fit, because of the geographical reach. But there is one unique thing. This company was founded by two female leaders in 1989.
Okay. Wow.
And really, and you don't see many companies founded in our industry by two female leaders 30 years ago. And they are two amazingly wonderful, highly capable female leaders. And this acquisition is really that way, is very unique. How do we bring them to our fold and bring them the passion, the energy, the capability, what they have demonstrated, and hopefully work together to make them bigger and better and bolder.
Yes, and then listeners can find out more about that on waste360.com, where we'll have a write-up all about that once the news is out. So cool. HP, well, I thank you for joining me today. Where can people find out more about Arcwood and find out more about yourself?
Yeah, please, they can go to arcwoodenvironmental.com, our website, to find more information. They can go to my LinkedIn page, HP Nanda. They can search me easily and find more about myself. Thanks so much, and a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This was very insightful. All right, that does it for this week's episode of the Waste World Podcast. Thank you again to HP for being here. Hopefully you've been enjoying the latest episodes of the podcast, including the spotlight episodes we're doing on the Waste 360 400 Under 40 award-winning class. Some of the winners are coming on to the podcast to share their experiences from the industry in a nice little interview, nice little conversation for you guys to learn more about them and the work they're doing and how you could even be the next 40 Under 40 award winner, following in their footsteps. Steal ideas. I don't know. Just do what someone else is doing. That's probably bad advice, but I don't know. I'm just having fun here. Okay, that was the episode. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, other podcasting services. Check us out on YouTube for the video version. Go to waste360.com for more happenings from the waste and recycling industry. Share the episode with a friend. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Shoot me an email if you want to be on the show. If you got something interesting to talk about. Worst I can say is no. Worst thing after that I can do is miss the email, and then it looks bad on me, and we don't want that. Okay, thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1.